These are the organisers of the
active
meeting,
fan flying,
Alex Cornish Trestrail and Dick Spreadbury, and thank you to both of them. That's Christine in the background, helped out making tea, providing soft drinks on a very, very hot day. Well, we've now moved to Swinderby, last fan fly of the season. Another good turnout. Obviously by now you'll have noticed some repetition of models. Lots of new ones there as well. And the weather on this occasion was undoubtedly the best of the year. Beautiful balmy summer's day, although it was in mid-September. Clear skies. For most of the day there was absolutely no wind whatsoever, and it provided some excellent flying. Long takeoffs and very, very high speed landings. Some opening static shots here. Obviously the lineup was taken at the traditional lunchtime gathering. These two particular models are from Phil Boyden stable and made from moulds by a gentleman called Alan Brown, who produced this particular model about 4 or 5 years ago.
Go to the caravan so we can get things moving, please.
Obviously F100s, they're 45 size models and normally fly very well. On this occasion neither of these could get off the ground. Pim Smith models again. That's a Jet Hanger Hobbies Mirage. Looks as if it's just come out of the box. It's in fact about 6 or 7 years old. Graham Preston's S20, he organised the event. No prizes for this one. My Fanjet's Hawk in the background on the stand. Jim Harrison's latest project, Thorpe Brothers F104. Another Paul Greyhawk. Good flyers, these models, they really are. That's a Paul Thorpe designed Sabre, a plan. As you can see, it's still early in the morning. Very, very fresh, bright morning. People still arriving. That's the first airing of the Jet Hanger Hobbies Phantom. This one was fitted with a Dynamax fan and an OS91. OS90 I think it is. That little F-16 should not have been at the event. That was the EZ propeller driven model. One for Rich Jurovich, that's his House of Balsa Sabre, belonging to Phil Boyden. Battle-scarred Gripen of John Richards. The inevitable Byron F-16. This is the Sirocco model one. Some Thorpe bric-a-brac now. F1 there. Another F1. And the Cornish Trestrail stable. On the right of the picture, just disappearing, is his two-seat version of his Fulcrum. Unfinished, obviously. Proceeding starting here with my Fanjet Hawk. We'll get the prangs out the way as soon as possible. I thought I'd broken my duck at this event. I'd managed to break a model at every event, but it happened again here. This model's about 5-6 years old now. Employs a cheat, no internal ducting. KMB 7.5 Thor jet unit. Very good flyer, very smooth, and it's quite scale in appearance. Weighs about 9¼ pounds at this stage. It's very old. It's been re-engined 3 times.
When it gets down, pull down on the elevator to hold the motor down. Pull down elevator. That's superb. Well, there's no wind, you see. It's forward trim to bring it back. How did it turn out?
This is my own flight of the model, and you'll see what happens. I totally lost orientation with this. Tells its own story. Move now to the MiG-29 of Alex. It really is a lovely little model, this, as you can see. As I said, one of the problems with a model of this size is to keep the wing loading low. Obviously, the smaller the model, the more sensitive it is to the weight, and putting 2 fan and engine units in a model of this size does tend to pull up the wing loading. So Alex's mouldings are extremely light. And as you can see, it being a heavy model, heavy for its size, it flies quite fast. £7¾ in weight, with the 2 Cress units, 720 Cress units and OS 25s. I'm a great believer in front induction engines, and K&B and the small OS engines are perhaps the only ones still available, apart from the Super Tiger, which really has gone out of the Performance League now. Alex has got these carburetors on extension tubes, and they sit comfortably and conveniently outside the ductwork. Tidied everything up, and also gives you an opportunity to fiddle with the carbs if you need to. Dead stick grass landing. Another day where I think the weather got the better of quite a few people. You'll see here that Graham Preston's model suffered a little bit from tuning problems. This is a whole clutch of coverage on the F20. Graham's is now 9 3/4 pounds, and he's re-engined it with the Pico 45 OPS pipe, and he employs Marathi retracts. This is another Pico powered model.
Your way, your way.
My pounds and I at the moment are looking at a 10 or 15% enlarged version of the Thorpe F20. It really is such a good flyer for a Dynamax unit. For such a small wind loading and a high wind area and a high wind loading, it really does fly well, as you can see. This is the Thorpes themselves, of the original one. That's Paul going up in his usual manner. Half on thrust, half on lift. This is the OPS powered version. Four and a half, 5 years old now, this one. This one's 9.5 pounds. That's a gentleman on the right. This is another beautiful model done in the Paris display colours. This one unfortunately come to grief. A young guy was using a drop tank underneath very successfully and lost flying surface control. We don't know why. The model was so badly damaged that it was really impossible to establish what went wrong. But you can judge for yourself. This is the second model this young fella's built. This is another OPS powered model. I don't think the OPS engines are particularly popular in America. I imagine because they are so expensive. They are expensive, they're very expensive in this country. I have to say though that they're probably the best engineered of all the engines. K&B come very close second, but I imagine you can buy two K&B engines for the price you pay for an OPS. But there are a lot of OPS engines, particularly the 45 size ones, in the UK, and they're an absolutely super engine. Their carburettor system, they use slide carburettors, and they really give you perfect throttling right through the whole range. These OPS 45s I know can idle down to about 1500 RPM. This one, as you saw, has a dolly takeoff. Throttle back to drop the tank.
Drop the tank, please.
Now that was painful. I felt that myself. I don't know this young guy's name, I never managed to find out, but Paul Thorpe with the transmitter is doing the first test flight of this. This was another model that unfortunately came to grief. Beautifully built, as you can see, and very, very fast in the air. On this occasion they diagnosed that the elevator control was lost, and Paul said that himself, and he very, very wisely tried to steer it away from everybody. And that really is a classic sight in the air. Once again, this plan is available in the USA through Bob Holman. You have to be a dedicated builder to build these models. There is a lot of balsa planking and plywood work involved, but I think it pays off in a light model and quite a strong model as well. This now is Jim Harrison's version. This is another OPS powered one. I think in this case he was using an OPS 67. That was the first successful attempt after many. He had a very sophisticated dolly system which he hadn't ironed the bugs out of. This is Paul Thorpe once again with the F-18 Hornet. This now has the Pico 80 and the 9-blade fan. Getting better all the time. They've had very little time to do any development on this, but it's still improving. It's just an old flying test bed that they use.
Are you alright?
Weighs in at 11 pounds now, the F-18. This is Jim Harrison up to his usual tricks. I think if he put a string on that and held it into wind and used it as a kite, he'd save on fuel. That transition from the 45-degree angle of attack to straight and level flight is quite difficult, and it has to be done very, very carefully. Now for some fun. Pim Smith's attempted to take off with the Phil Boyd and House of Balsa model. Phil Endine thinks he can do a little bit better, so he has a go. And then Pim Smith, not to be outdone, finally gets the model away. And as you can hear, the crowd were thoroughly enjoying that. This is 5 or 6 years old now, maybe even older. It's young Phil Boyden's model, KMB 21, in an old Axi-Flow fan unit, and its size made it really quiet and very, very smooth. Bit of fan tweaking from Phil's pal on the F100. More fun and games now. These are KMB 7.5 powered. Those models do fly, and they fly very well. It's just that I thought I'd put them in just to show you that it isn't all perfection on days like this. To round off the event, has Pim Smith with one of the last flights of the day with his fallen nut. This guy really can fly, as you can see. This is KMB Turbox powered.